Not to beat a dead horse, or in this case, a dead cow, I'm going to narrate the whole thing. Anyway, as you guys know, I just like to start with basic shapes, and I draw on the head, and then I draw in. This is the doodle. I'm not being so picky, but I draw on I block in all my shapes and whatnot. So here's the cow's head, the horns, and those for you who don't realize, there are female cows can have horns. I grew up in Chino, and my grandpa worked on a dairy, so I used to play on a dairy as a child. So it's not a bull, it is a cow, because cows give milk, not bulls. But anyway, back on track. Here I'm just blocking in value, trying to figure out the drawing, just what I like. In a minute, I'm going to erase the hand. I don't really like how it looks. I realize he's like going over the cow, not doing what he needs to do, and so I'm going to make him hold up his hand, knowing I'm going to put a wand there eventually. Doing the sleeve, he looks kind of chunky, so I shave off his robe a little bit just to make him more, I don't know, slender, because Voldemort's not really a big guy. He's more of a long, lanky fellow. Add the shoulders in, draw the wand. Accio milk. I hope I spelled that right. Still haven't spell checked it. Oh well. I'm making the milk come up and around, and I realize here, I'm like, hey, it'd be funny if he's holding a cup of coffee, like a latte cup, Starbucks cup. So I erase it and I put it in. A lot of times when I draw stuff like this, when it's, especially it's a doodle, I'm just kind of, I get to draw what I want to draw. Stream of consciousness comes into play, and I can really just fill in what I want to fill in. So it's a lot of fun. Um, Here I'm lowering the opacity, and I'm going to start inking it. This is when I had some problems with my recording software, and so you didn't get to see me ink the whole thing. But when I do ink it, as you're going to see towards the end, I have my basic sketch and I clean up my line work on top of it. Here I'm zooming in just a little bit, because when I sketch, it's kind of like a rough draft of an essay. I just have to get it down there on the paper, get the idea down, and then I go back and I refine it. As you can see, I made the tail go down the wrong spot. Coming up, I'm going to just do the inking and all that. Basically, this is digital inking. It's just cleaning up my line work. And then I'm going to, in a minute, I'm going to be zooming out and getting rid of the original sketch, which is where the red is, and going to color on top. When I color in Photoshop, I like to use 3 different layers. It'll be the line work, which is the black layer. Then I'll have color underneath that line work, and then that's transparent. And then I'll have one more set of color on top of everything that's opaque that I can add in highlights and whatnot. But I'll get to that in a minute. So here I'm just having fun with some details, trying to make the milk go into the cup, shade the robe, and all that nonsense. So this is a boring part. So yeah, guys, make sure to Twitter your drawings. Thanks for listening to Pottercast and watching our vlogs. Okay, here it goes. This is when I start coloring. So those of you, this is what you came to this channel for, the coloring. As you can see right here, I got rid of the red, so now I just have black and white. Now I'm going to block in some color in the background. I'm blocking in just a red color. I figure to be a nice contrast, because I'm going to make his eyes red eventually. And I do I pass a value behind him. Notice that they're going to be a darker red behind him, not haloing him the whole way, but just through the back. It gives it some depth. I make the cow. Cows aren't completely white, so I put the, like a darker cream color for the shadow. Color his tongue. I'm going to color his spots in a little bit. Put some shadows on the horns. I'm going to fill in the now when I color this part of his robe, I can fill in on the areas I overlapped with red. I can kind of clean that up a little bit with this, and you can see I covered over his hand a little bit, but now I just go over and redo the white, trimming up the red there. I'm going to go in and fix the milk right now, make that stand out a little bit. And then at this point, I'm realizing there's a lot of white on this paper. Voldemort's white, the Starbucks cup's white, the milk's white, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to address that. So how I do that is I color and I shade things. So right now I'm adding just some more cross-hatching in the background. I like to cross-hatch with some line work. It just kind of gives it some dimension and depth and direction. It's just fun for me, and it's just something I enjoy doing. So right about, and then I added the brighter yellow on top of the darker yellow just for contrast purposes. It just kind of helps make it stand out a little bit. Now I'm going to zoom in and color the cup here, doing a shadow, then get rid of the shadow, put the green logo. You can make assumptions as to what company that represents. Now I think I'm going to start shading Voldemort with a with a lighter shade of gray, just to give him a little more depth and shadow. And it'll just separate him a little bit from the milk, because the milk eventually I'm going to go in and shade, but I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use like a light blue, just to give that like a different feel than the gray of Voldemort's skin. Just cleaning up the milk to get some emphasis to it. Here comes the color. Hold on. Oh, this is when I added the fifth layer, the third layer when I paint on top. So I'm playing with his eyes. You're going to see me go back and forth a few different styles. That was too red, it wasn't red enough. I really liked the left eye a lot, but I couldn't get the right one to work. And so you're going to see me play with that a little bit. But I got over it. See, I didn't really like how it looked. I zoomed out. And that's a good thing. You guys who paint digitally, don't be a zoom painter. If you're going to be painting in up close like that, zoom out, see what it looks like, and then zoom back in. Because sometimes it just looks horrible when you just look. You know, when you're painting up close and you zoom out, it looks really like a quilt or a patchwork or whatnot. So I'm adding the shadow on the cow, and this is when I realized the milk needs some tweaking, so I open the blue and I change it to a lighter shade just to give it some, you know, shape, or not shape, but just value. But that's it. That's the doodle. You guys remember to tweet me some more doodle suggestions, and I'll see you guys next week. And it's a lot of fun for me. So if I keep running out of time, I'll be putting these on my personal channel as well as the podcast channel. Thanks for listening. See you guys. I want to